Hello everybody and welcome to Nathan on Shuffle and to my latest episode of New Music Weekly. It's October 14th, 2022, and this is the show where I give you guys the weekly news update in the world of Prog, give you guys some Prague Singles to enjoy, and talk about what's going on with my channel. It's a fun time. I missed last week. I just didn't end up having time and it just didn't work with my schedule, so I had to kind of skip over it. But I'm here now and I'm excited to talk about what's been going on. It's kind of a cool week of news at least from the stuff that I tend to like. And really that's what this is about, me sharing music news about the artists that I really love and enjoy and like to share with you guys. And if you're into this news program and you're enjoying it, I would urge you to subscribe to the channel. It really helps me in my growth and giving me motivation to keep going. A like and a comment is also a great way to support the channel, so I really appreciate you guys and the support you always provide me. It's such a great community and I'm just so grateful. This has been such an amazing experience being able to do this for you guys, so appreciate you guys coming on the journey with me. So let's get into the music news. So the first bit of news, like I usually tend to like to do on these shows, is talking about some of the new releases that came out this weekend. First of all, David Longdon's posthumous album Door 1 was released today, October 14th, on CD and white and black vinyl editions. So that's out to order or pick up in whatever format you like. Also on all the various streaming platforms to enjoy. I've been listening to it. I plan to put out a review fairly soon about it. It's just a really great album and a great send-off for one of Prog's brightest stars who unfortunately passed last year. So it's a really heartfelt release and I think it really deserves to be heard, especially by Big Train fans who were such a massive fan of his. Also with Big Train, they released a new Blu-ray and double CD set called Summer Shall Not Fade, documenting their performance at the Night of the Prog Festival on the 13th of July 2018 at Lorelei in Germany. So a really cool live package there, featuring David Longdon and a legendary performance by one of the classic lineups of the band of the past several years. So definitely check that out. Also on my list of releases, Alter Bridge came out with Pawns and Kings, more of a harder rock affair there. Dream Theater with their next live album series, Made in Japan Live 2006, Deep Purple album cover. Red Hot Chili Peppers released a new album, Return of the Dream Canteen, their second album this year. So a bunch of interesting releases. I'm sure there's more. Please tell me in the comments. I always get updates in the comments about all the albums that I kind of missed and didn't talk about here. So please, I urge you guys to do that. It really helps me to find new releases as well. So number 2 on my list here for Prog news headlines, want to talk about some Yes touring news. First of all, we've got John Anderson to tour with the band Geeks in spring 2023. Of course, John Anderson is the legendary Yes vocalist, songwriter. They're going to be performing a lot of Yes classics together, Starship Trooper and You and I, Heart of the Sunrise, and epics such as Close to the Edge, Gates of Delirium, Awaken, all of the big mega classics from Yes's catalog. So it's really cool. John Anderson is 77 years old at this point, but still wanting to sing these songs and bring them to his audience. And he just has this Yes music running through his veins. And so it's cool that he's going to get to play with the band Geeks, who I believe are somewhat of a cover group who play a lot of Yes songs. So they're very familiar with the Yes catalog as well. They've gained popularity on YouTube by recreating music by various artists, gaining a lot of views over on YouTube. So really cool stuff here, and they have some tour dates mostly across the eastern side of the U.S. in next spring, but it seems like there may be more dates to be announced. The current lineup of the band Geeks is Richie Castellano on bass and guitars, Chris Clark on keyboards, Andy Escalés on drums, Robert Kipp on keyboards and guitar, and Andy Graziano on guitar and bass. So really cool backing band to assist John Anderson in performing these Yes classics. But on the Yes side of the spectrum, Yes also announced their UK Relayer tour dates for June 2023. So Yes has somewhat been going through their classic albums, celebrating their anniversaries and just celebrating those albums in general for their impact. They're currently in the midst of a Close to the Edge 50th anniversary tour that they're doing, which still has dates ongoing in the US through this month and next. So that's still an ongoing project, but it seems like they're going to tackle Relayer next year. At least they have some dates starting in June next year. So looks like some UK dates that might be worth your attention if you're out in that way. Of course, the lineup here will feature Steve Howe on guitars, Jeff Downs on keyboards, John Davison on lead vocals and acoustic guitar, Billy Sherwood on bass guitar, and Jay Shellen on drums and percussion, stepping in for Alan White, who unfortunately passed away in May this year. So it should be a really cool time. It's going to be 2 different sets, one set of featured classics from the band, from their catalog, and then a set of Relayer, their 7th studio album, which is quite a task. Relayer is quite a complex, crazy album. One of my favorites, of course, with Gates of Delirium and Sound Chaser and To Be Over, a great 3 songs that are all classics and wonderful Yes songs. So that should be a fun thing to behold, see how they're able to tackle the Yes catalog there. Item number 3, Kansas is releasing a 3 CD Digipak called Another Fork in the Road, 50 Years of Kansas. Of course, Kansas is a legendary prog band, one of the few big named prog bands from America, known for a lot of their classic rock staples like Carry On Wayward Son and Dust in the Wind, of course, but known to prog fans for some of their more extended epic pieces from those 70s years. Really a great band, somewhat of an underrated prog band in my opinion, even though of course many people know and love them. I'm not saying that people don't know who they are, but I just feel like they should be viewed in the same thought as, the classics like Genesis and Yes and those bands. So this is a career-spanning collection here to celebrate their 50th anniversary, scheduled for release on December 9th, 2022. They're also tackling a new version of Can I Tell You? Originally, it was recorded on their debut album in 1974, but they've updated it for their current lineup, providing somewhat of a full circle perspective on the band's career from the beginnings to now. So throughout the years, they've had 16 studio albums and have sold in excess of 30 million albums worldwide. So big force to be reckoned with. Really a great band. Phil Ehart commented, "We are really honored by the commitment that Inside Out Music has put into Another Fork in the Road. This is far more than just another greatest hits album. Another Fork in the Road is an in-depth representation of the evolving and winding musical journey of the band Kansas that's been 50 years in the making." So it'll arrive as a 3 CD Digipak collection, including extensive liner notes by journalist Jeff Wagner, as well as pictures of rarely seen memorabilia and archive material, all overseen by founding member Phil Ehart. So should be really cool. There's a track listing online of all the tracks that are going to be included here from throughout their catalog. I found it interesting that disc 2, there's a European version and also a North American version. I'm not sure why they had to separate out different versions. Maybe different songs were hits in different markets, I suppose, but I thought that was kind of an interesting quirk. But anyways, it seems like it should be a cool release to check out with some really cool songs on here. It seems like a pretty good representation of all the facets of their sound throughout the years. So for those of you who love Kansas, this should be really fun. And they're also celebrating their 50th anniversary with some extensive touring in North America in 2023 with their current lineup, Phil Ehart, Billy Greer, Ronnie Platt, David Ragsdale, and Tom Brislin, as well as Richard Williams on guitar. So should be a really cool set of concerts. They have dates online, so something to definitely check out for those of you who love Kansas. Number 4, Arjen Lucassen announces live 01011001 shows for September from the classic 01 album. Really should be a lot of fun. He does these big shows that take place basically in his hometown in Tilburg. He basically puts on these big stage shows, brings in a bunch of the different vocalists who performed on these albums, and they're these big, massive, sold-out shows. He did one for Electric Castle, Live in Other Tales, Ayreon Universe shows, and so this is Live Beneath the Waves. celebrating 01 and its great impact. It's one of his great albums that goes through this conceptual feel and is a really cool modern album, of course featuring guest vocalists such as Floor Jansen, Aniek van Giersbergen, Magnum's Bob Catley, Evergrey's Tom England, Catatonia's Jonas Rinsky, Hansi Kirch, Jorn Land, and Steve Lee as well. So it should feature a vast array of many guest vocalists and should be a fun time. Also in the Ayreon camp, they're re-releasing the Universal Migrators Part 1 and 2. I talked about it, I believe, in a previous New Music Weekly episode, so that's something to check out, something I've pre-ordered personally. Really love Ayreon and their blend of classic concept albums with a bit of a progressive metal edge, and it's a really good time, really great storytelling, some great prog influences in their music, and I really like that. So, and then finally at item number 5 here, Kaipa is releasing Notes from the Past on vinyl. This is their first album in sort of the new era of the band. Of course, they were a classic 70s band, but they really came back in a strong way in 2002 with this album, Notes from the Past. So it's celebrating its 20th anniversary and will be released on vinyl for the first time through Inside Out Music on December 11th. There's a teaser trailer that I'll put in the description below. It was their first new music after a 20-year break, saw keyboard player Hans Lundin joined by Roine Stolt, as well as Jonas Reingold, Morgan Agren, Patrick Lundström, Alina Gibson, and Tove Thorn Lundin. Of course, Roine Stolt would be with them for a couple albums, but then would go off and they'd continue without him on future records. But this was an important milestone in Kaipa's history, bringing the band back out of a 20-year hiatus, and should sound really great on vinyl. So definitely an album to check out for fans of symphonic prog, fans of Kaipa, fans of Roine Stolt, and all of those things. So definitely fun. I also wanted to mention as a little bit of a bonus item, Ryo Okumoto announced some live performances of his new album, The Myth of the Mostrophus, with an all-star lineup. A little bit of more local news because the 2 dates are in LA, which is somewhat near me, at Champion Sight and Sound, November 5th and 6th. Of course, Ryo's the longtime keyboard wizard in Spock's Beard, and this album sort of pays homage to the Spock's Beard days in a lot of ways, and joining him at that event is going to be Alan Morse, his Spock's Beard cohort, as well as project members Pete Griffin and Jonathan Mover, guitar legends Mark Bonilla and Joey Frivola. Michael Whiteman is coming from the UK, who really collaborated a lot on this album and contributes a lot of vocals and keyboards and so forth. And also Kevin Crone and vocals with Kiko Okumoto as well on that show. So it should be quite a cool show. It'd be cool if he took this a little bit to some other places as well, but for now I think it's just these dates in LA, so something for those LA fans to come and enjoy. So should be really fun. And, you know, Ryo is always a treat live. I've seen him live a few times, and he's just a riot. He's really funny and has a great time, so definitely something to enjoy and look for. As for the Prague Singles for this week, the 5 singles, I put in Ayreon and the Druids Turn to Stone. There's a new video for that, their 2022 remakes of it from the upcoming Universal Migrator duology that's going to be released soon. So that should be something fun to check out. One of my favorite Ayreon tracks featuring Damian Wilson on vocals. I'm also putting in Glass Hammer's video All Alone, which is debuting around the same time I'm going to be putting out this video. So really go check that one out. It may feature me and my wife in the video. So it's kind of exciting for us to be part of Glass Hammer's music video. So I definitely want to point your attention towards it. Really was fun to contribute to that. Number 3, Threshold and their new single Complex from their upcoming 12th full-length studio album Dividing Lions, which is going to be released on November 18th. A great heavy progressive metal that I've really enjoyed. I really like their previous albums, so I have high hopes for this one. Number 4, I put in Snarky Puppy and their new track Take It featuring Bernard Wright. Snarky Puppy is a fusion jazz with little prog tinges to it. A lot of people who love prog love this group. Just a lot of great players. Really impressive jazz collective that is hard to ignore their talent and their abilities. So I wanted to put that in the mix. They had a new album recently come out called Empire Central. So check that out in the description as well. And then Soen, a Swedish metal group, have released a cover of Snuff, a Slipknot cover, with a video coming from their future upcoming release, Atlantis, which is coming out November 18th as well. A special concert film featuring reinterpretations of their songs with a live orchestra. So this is a cover that they did, and it's really, really gorgeous. So I really urge you to check that one out as well. And so those are the basic news items I have for you this week. Hopefully you enjoy something from that list. As always, let me know in the comments what singles you may have come across or albums that have come out that maybe I missed in my little discussion here. As for the channel, a really cool week for the channel, I felt at least. I put out a Glass Hammer review for their latest album, At the Gate, which I really enjoyed. I think it's a fantastic highlight of the year. I'm really excited about the album. I also put up my latest new music shuffle where I talk about several different releases from the Mars Volta, Muse, Toehider, Joshua Batten, all these different artists that I've really been loving. Really highly recommend checking that out if you're looking for new album recommendations or looking for my thought on some of the most recent releases. Really had a good time with that, as well as my latest top 5 where I focused on Steven Wilson's solo songs. So really fun time on the channel. I'm really trying to delve deep into some new releases, really trying to showcase some of the great prog that's out now, because that's really my focus as a listener. I just love the modern day prog and really highlighting these artists that are working so hard in this genre and are often overlooked by the music landscape in general. So I'm trying to promote and give them some attention as much as they deserve it. So definitely have some exciting things. Hoping to do a review of the new David Longdon album, as I mentioned. Hoping to do a bunch of future reviews, future top 5s, some more stuff with my wife as well, and hopefully some collaborative stuff from other YouTubers. So should be a fun time to be a part of the Nathan on Shuffle community, and I really thank you guys for all your support and everything you've done for me up to this point. I'm getting close to 2,500 subscribers, which I'm really excited about, so we're eking towards that goal soon. So any subscriptions will help me reach that goal sooner than later. So thank you guys again so much for your support, and I'll catch you guys in another video, and just enjoy the music, everybody. Thank you so much. Bye.